at 7:01 is now open. Please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next thing on our agenda is the consideration of the agenda. There's been a major change tonight, and I wanted to bring it up before we get there. The applicant, Mr. Bays, has withdrawn his applications, so we will not be hearing that this evening. However, the meeting will go on, and that change is noted on your, I believe it's number 9 on your agenda. So I wanted to let you know before we get into that. Okay, now the go ahead. Number 10, I'm sorry, number 10. Thank you, Jerry. And the consideration of the agenda changes being taken place is, Sarah, help me with this one. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to do public commentary. Then we're going to do ongoing reports. We're going to do new business, which is a public hearing, will not take place tonight. So those are the changes to the agenda. Did you get that?
It's number 10 unfinished will not.
Okay.
That's where, for whatever, and for you, you've got 9 somewhere written down there, but it's number 10 unfinished. So on the agenda, it's stricken and then says withdrawn by applicant on it. So everything else will go on.
Kind of flow in its normal course?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Although you did talk about under new business, you wanted to give an update about the November meeting. Do
I
you want to
did.
put that on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, public commentary. Please keep your comments to the agenda items only. We're going to have 2 public commentaries, one now and one at the end of our meeting. So if it's not germane to the agenda items, please keep that comments to the end of our meeting. Try to move this along a little bit. In the process, would you please give Barbara Boudros, our acting secretary, your completed speaker forms? Barbara will call each speaker when it is your time to speak. Each speaker will need to state their name, their address before speaking. Please note, you will have a maximum of 2 minutes will be allotted for each speaker. Barbara, do we have a speaker? Sure.
I believe we have to approve the agenda. Yes.
You know, you're a stickler for details, aren't you? That's great.
He's right.
Could I have a motion, please, to approve the changes to the minutes?
Approve the changes to the agenda.
Thank you, Bob. Second? Cole? Okay, discussion? Then we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Now we can get into the speakers.
Did you already say the 2 minutes?
Yes.
Our first speaker is Bill Peterson.
Thank you.
As noted on the agenda changes, we did not take off number 8, conflict of interest.
That is correct. We're going to address that.
Yes, so that's what I'm here to do.
Okay.
And I wanted to know earlier today when I'd heard that this meeting's agenda was changing. So I came in, filled out a FOIA request and obtained from the applicant as to his correspondence with the township of why tonight's meeting agenda would be changed. And I'd like to read that into record if I could. Letter dated October 12th, 2021 to the Township Planning Commission. I want to start by addressing my concern with the process, which ends up being the basis for my actions in this conclusion. In my opinion, the approval of my rezoning application has been set up to fail from the beginning. I was told by Alan Martell, if any aviation was to take place on any of my R1 zone lots, that I had to get them rezoned to commercial. If I did not, the township would force my hand into compliance. Instead of fighting about it in good faith, I spent $30,000 in in application fees to do what was asked. Less than 1 week prior to the initial meeting, the same guy tells me what to do and why. Alan sends out a 3-page warning email to the community saying a developer has applied to get hundreds of acres of residential property changed into commercial. He claimed that I didn't even have the courtesy to let the township know my plans, and if approved, I would get in gas stations, stores, retail shopping, or a list of 27 other uses that would be permitted by right. Alan's cry to the
30
community.
seconds. 30 seconds.
Excuse me, Bill, you have 30 seconds.
Can I have an extension?
I'm sorry?
Can I have an extension?
You can have a 30-second extension after the 2 minutes.
Okay, if I have to finish this at the end, I will. Alan's cry to the community provoked a large number of people to comment at the meeting on something that was not based on facts. As a very large bordering neighbor to the community, I honestly believe that Alan had a conflict of interest. As a township trustee, he should be neutral. Next, I move to the Planning Commission Chair, Mr. Bill Stridiron. At last month's meeting, the commission were given 5 options or directions that they could take with this rezoning. These options were proposed by the third-party company hired by the commission to review my application. I reimbursed the commission for the company's review and their opinion. Bill opted immediately for the denial route without the desire to look at any other beneficial options. Actually, Bill bullied his way through the meeting and at times scolded some and shutting others down. No one could discuss the options from their quote expert, as Bill refused to allow it to occur. It wasn't making any sense to me.
Excuse me, Bill. Would you just get to the end? Your time is up. You just
I will
sum
be
it-
happy to come up at the very end and finish
No, I'm
this.
sorry. Could you get to the end of your, you said you just where you jumped to the end?
Well, it's another full page, and if I need to take 2 minutes at the end, but it's, as a taxpayer, I believe that the residents of this township need to understand.
You know, in this
facts.
particular situation, I want everybody to understand, I'm going to bend the rules for Mr. Peterson. You can finish this.
Thank you. It wasn't making any sense to me why we were headed down this path with such a hard-nosed stance, especially with so many other great options available. Options including creating an airport district that limited the uses or agreeing to a restricted zoning approval, so gas stations, shopping malls, adult stores could never be put on the current airport property. These options were never fully discussed. However, these are great options that I would support. Later, I was made aware that Bill's family is financially supporting Deb Graver's legal expenses and her litigation against the airport. It is my belief that Bill has a major conflict of interest and should have recused himself when given the chance, but never mentioned it at all. It was made clear by Jason Merchant's reaction to finding this out that I am not the only one to think that a conflict of interest exists. Next, we have Barb Boudros. Barb is the only other person on the commission to speak negatively about the proposed use. She stated that this zoning change would be harmful because of traffic, noise, etc. I found out after the vote was taken that her husband has openly participated in public comments strongly opposing any approvals for my property rezoning. I can tell you, if my wife was that strongly against something happening and I voted to allow it, that I would not hear the end of it in my personal life. Therefore, I believe Barb Boudros also has a strong conflict of interest going into last month's meeting. At the end of last month's meeting, as I walked past the board, Bill holds a paper over his face, turns to Barb and says, "Good luck with that, hey Barb." With that, it is clear that I have not been dealt a fair hand, and it is clear based on the findings of facts put together that my application is going to be denied. Instead of trying to alleviate the community's concerns and coming to a mutually beneficial working relationship for an airport that has been such a meaningful part of this community for over 80 years, a small group of biased and conflicted officials have worked to negate all efforts to improve the airport. Therefore, I am formally requesting to withdraw my application. Sincerely, Tim Banks.
Here you go. Barbara, who's our next speaker?
Next speaker is Rob Vermeer.
Can I ask you a question, Bill? Over here, Jason,
I'm sorry.
I'm right here.
I'm sorry, Jason.
Well, 2 months ago, when there was 44 letters, they all got 4 minutes, and some of them got 10 minutes. How come we only giving these people 2 minutes tonight?
The chair has that option to do that, Jason. In fact, if you look at your board that you're on, a lot of times they won't even read any letters into the.
That's fine. Okay. I just wanted to point that out.
And Rob, before you begin, with all respect, please keep it germane to the agenda. Okay? At this point, if you want to speak at the end, you can speak on anything you want. You have 2 minutes.
Rob Vermeer, 8619 Sun Bay Court. Good evening. I've come before the Planning Commission before. Rob Vermeer, along with my wife Ann. We own Lake Living Services and the Eastport Resale Shop on M88. At first blush, you might feel that our property on M88 is not relevant to the agenda tonight, that it's primarily for the air park, but is the actions of a subset of the Planning Commission leaders sitting before us tonight, plus a member of the Torch Lake Township Board and a former zoning administrator who have tied our M88 zoning change to the air park. That makes my statement tonight relevant for the agenda. It was Mr. Dave Taylor who was so outraged with our zoning change that was approved in accordance with the legitimate process by the Planning Commission, Antrim County, and the Torch Lake Township Board that he filed a letter of intent for a referendum. I'll call it the petition. How interesting that his outrage resulted in him getting 0 signatures on the petition. 0. He was not even a circulator. You know who did obtain the signatures? Over 80% of the signatures obtained were from people who were either on or have been affiliated with the township. Martell, Stridiron, Kolka, Boudreaux, and Graber. Other than Deb Graber, they sit on the very governing bodies that approved our rezoning in the first place. Something didn't smell right. The verbiage on the petition only addressed our property on M88, and the approval was received. That was fine. And if those people I mentioned were acting as private citizens and represented the petition on its merits, we have no problem with that at all. Yet time and again, people we talked with were certain that what they signed were related to the air park or Dollar General, mainly the air park. Many were flabbergasted and appalled when we pointed out that what they signed was only for our little property on M88. Printed on the petition, it is black and white that any circulator making a false statement in the certificate, which is the petition, is guilty of a misdemeanor. I'm not an attorney or here to confirm that any unlawful activity took place, but it seems pretty coincidental that those with an interest in the air park, those that were with the interest in the air park decision canvassed their neighborhoods to put our little property on the ballot. It's also pretty coincidental that dozens of residents we spoke with thought that they were signing something that was related to the air park. It's shameful to see this type of activity
Will you please sum
play
up?
out.
Your
I'm
time
almost
is
done.
up. Would you please
I'm
sum it up,
almost
please?
done. It's shameful to see this type of activity play out among a select group of so-called leaders in Torch Lake Township. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara, do we have another speaker?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. That concludes the public commentary. Is closed at, what's the time, Barbara? I can't see the clock.
7:14.
7:14. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from September 14th, 2021, and September 23, 2021. Does anybody have any changes to the minutes?
I do. It's good job you're doing on picking up the information. I do have one issue here, maybe I missed it somewhere. There are 6 members that were present, and almost everything says 5-0, 5-0, voting on it. I don't know if somebody abstained for voting or left. shouldn't that be addressed, or is that adequate, just the people voted? I'm not sure what is right to pick up in the minutes.
Jerry, if I may,
Sure.
are you referring to the September 14th?
September 14th.
Okay.
And there's also the same issue that I have on the 23rd one also, where there are 6 people that said members present, but the voting said 5-0. And I don't know if that was correct, or somebody abstained, or should have been 6-0, what? Okay. All right, please.
Veronica, also, if I may, Jerry, on that same note, on September 14th, absent was Laura Carlton. She recused herself from the meeting. So you're going to change the votes as they get through this? Okay.
Okay, I got one more. Let's see what's on this. Oh, it's on the next one, the September 23rd. The same thing there, so I think you want to address that. And there was something like under C towards the bottom there, Jay Kolka feels that the current draft should be accepted, but, and then there's 1.06. I don't know if that's the period that was recorded. Chapter 20.
Yeah.
About third sentence down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 down, starts Jay Kolka feels the current draft should be accepted, but, and in brackets, 1.06, maybe just a period after accepted, or,
Yes.
yeah,
correct.
okay, thank you. And there's another one under Barb there, up from, let's see, it was way down, but up from
Oh,
B,
I see where you're at.
yeah, 48.15, probably should be just crossed out. Right,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, that's the only thing, everything else looks good to me.
Okay, I have one minor change, Veronica. On Tuesday, September 14th,
Okay,
second page,
okay.
down under number 10, new business. If you go down 3 lines, you'll get to request Supervisor Bob Cook speak to the resolution, which change was to he, please. Review it.
Okay.
From the commissioners, any other changes to the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Minutes of September 23rd, in number 12, public commentary regarding the remarks by Mr. Bishop. The MCL citing is incorrect. It should be 125.3203.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm missing a page of it.
On the second, the second full page of the
They're in
23rd meeting.
September.
No, you're on the
There is a
14th. You're on the 14th, Bill. Wow, sorry.
My
14th.
I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Okay,
The
so
14th.
I listened to that several times, and that was what he stated. But you want me to change it to the
Well,
actual one,
the-
and not what he stated?
I don't know, that's for a smarter guy than me, I'm just saying.
Bob, I don't believe you can change what somebody said.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you
Bill?
want me to add something in parentheses or anything that would reflect the actual?
Well, in case anybody in the future wants to look that up, I think it'd be helpful to know the proper
So what
citation.
is the proper one again?
125, MCL 125.3203.
Thank you.
Bill, I'm on the September 14th. In the second page, the first long paragraph, maybe 2/3 of the way down where it starts with C. Shoemaker.
Hang on, let me stay with you.
Yes,
Okay, we're on September 14th on the first page?
second page.
Second page.
It starts with a very long paragraph. About 2/3 of the way down, there's a sentence that starts with C. Shoemaker.
21 lines now.
Interested in other options?
Yes, interested in other option and feels to make a motion limits. You know, as I read that, I'm not sure what I was talking about. And then if you read, Sarah responded too, maybe she can help clarify. Add the process may reflect. It seems like that sentence doesn't make any sense either.
I feel I should have written Sarah Procre that added that the process when you're.
It could have been. Yeah, I'm not. It just seems unclear.
Did we get that change if we arrived at a conclusion?
I think
Chair,
that
can you lean
it's-
back, please?
I'm
Thank you.
Shoemaker is interested, so add an is to other options to an and made decision, and it should be moot, MOOT instead of mute,
Yeah,
At the end of your sentence.
at the end of Cole's sentence.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other changes?
On the 23rd minutes, I think we should add that Bob Hawkins was excused. Because we've
Hang on a
got,
second,
we
Sarah.
had,
Let me get there, please.
yep, on the 23rd, because we have the members present, so there were only 6 members present at that meeting.
Okay.
I think it's helpful to know the one we're missing.
Okay, absent, and then.
You should let the sheriff go, you're wasting his time.
You're out of order.
I'm sorry, so, add absent, Bob Hawkins, and then excuse.
Yeah, however, yeah, because if we do absent at the beginning, if that's what we typically do,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other changes? Just for the sake of the audience, this process seems to be a little bit mundane, but it's really important that we get these right. And I want to compliment Veronica because keeping these minutes the way she's been doing, you've been doing an excellent job. Thank you very much. With that,
I second that.
Yeah,
call for a motion to approve the changes to the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the change of the minutes per discussion that we had here.
Second.
Second, okay, she beat you to it, Bob. Okay,
Sorry.
discuss it. No discussion? Can we take a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we're moving on to number 6, ongoing reports. The first report is from the zoning administrator.
Provided on your table were, there's 2 reports here that Jackie put together for you for our zoning work for the township. Permits that are issued, ZBA applications, enforcement issues we're working on. So does anybody have any questions?
Is it possible to get these before our meeting?
We intended to put them in your packet, yes, and then the
Just
packet went
didn't
out
happen?
and they, yes,
Okay, because it's hard to, read through
Yeah.
all of this and be able to discuss it.
yes. The intent would be to have them in your packet.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Does anybody need more time to review these? Okay, we're good. Okay, we're going to move on to the PC representative for the ZBA, Cole.
We have not met since our last regularly scheduled meeting. We do have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow night. There are no variances or appeals.
I haven't seen the agenda. What's on that agenda?
Like I said, there are no variances or appeals. I think it's just to
Is it
clean up some
housekeeping meeting?
housekeeping stuff, administrative stuff, and as I understand, there are 3 new members on the ZBA, and I think it's to introduce those folks.
Okay, good. Excuse me. Board representative, sorry. Went down the wrong way.
Last month, the board approved a change to the FOIA fee schedule. We also approved Marcia Peterson and Kristen Graves as alternates for the ZBA. And we also approved Laura Anderson, Chad Pellizzari, David Nussdorfer, and Mark Jakubiec as regular ZBA board members. And that'll take effect November 1st.
That's it?
Yep.
Thank you.
I have a question for Jason. Jason, you mentioned the fee schedule was a changed fee schedule was adopted. And I understood when the supervisor introduced that at the board meeting, he said that it was pending review by Todd Millar, our attorney. Has that been reviewed by Todd Millar? Has he gotten back to the township saying that amendment to the fee schedule is appropriate and lawful?
No, that I do not know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is correspondence. Bill has read in some correspondence from Mr. Bays, but Sarah, would you like to address that?
I just would like to, put it on the record that we did receive a letter, from Mr. Bays withdrawing his application.
Okay, effective this afternoon?
Yeah, we did get this afternoon, and I
Okay.
believe the planning commission, you were all emailed a copy, but I put a copy on your desk as well, just in case you haven't seen it.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is conflict of interest. I thought it would be helpful for the planning commissioners for Sarah to read in the conflict of interest paragraph in our bylaws. You should have a copy in front of you. Sarah, would you read that in, please?
Sure. Let me do that. So it's section 6 of your bylaws, which if you may have a copy, Bill and I were talking about this earlier, for whatever reason, page 10 may be missing from a copy of the bylaws that you have. So we're going to be fixing that. But that's part of why this is here too. So we threw a copy on there. So members of the commission shall declare conflict of interest in connection with a matter pending before the commission and shall disqualify himself or herself from deliberating and voting on a matter when any of the following circumstances exist. So do you want me to read these all word for word, or can I
No,
summarize?
they can read them.
Okay. So we've got what if the applicant is the commissioner or a family member is a commissioner, if the commissioner or a family member has a financial interest in the outcome, if the commissioner or a spouse resides within 300 feet of the parcel, you get one of those 300-foot mailings. If the commissioner made statements or has taken action outside of a meeting or would somehow prejudice them in the matter. And if the member concludes in good faith that because of a prior business or personal relationship, they cannot give a fair hearing, then they should declare a conflict of interest. So if anybody has any questions about any of these, or if you feel that you may have a conflict of interest at any time, feel free to give me a call. And we can always check with the township attorney as well.
Which, by the way, we did, just for your information, with Laura Carlton, because we weren't sure of what her status was as things changed. And so Todd was a big help with that. So that's kind of the way you should go with it. Okay, with that said, with the commissioners tonight, is there any conflict of interest on the agenda item?
Which agenda item?
Conflict of interest.
I'm sorry?
Conflict of interest,
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
We kind of took a break turn on you.
You lost me.
Okay, now we're going to go to number 9, new business. I want to remind the commissioners that in the November meeting, you have 3 things pending. You have 2 public hearings, one on section 20 to help with the ZBA clarity, and one on section 10, I'm going to say 10, I'm not sure on that, but it's the high water mark on Torch Lake. And what's the third one, Sarah, help me?
The commercial
The
district.
commercial district language that Sarah's going to get back to you on for section 10 that we talked about on Thursday night. Okay? Unfinished business, we did that. Okay. Concerns of the commission, number 11. The chair has no concerns. Members? No concern voiced by the members. Consultant?
Nothing at this time.
I would like to make a comment. Sarah, thank you and Steve Langworthy for all your help on all of these issues. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, money well spent. Number 12, public commentary. Each speaker will need to state their name and the address before speaking. Please note that a maximum of 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker. Do we have any speakers? Barbara?
No.
Okay.
Except
Public commentary is now closed at what time?
it would have been if Bill Peterson wanted to
He
finish
did, he
it.
finished.
Oh, okay.
Bill, where's Bill? Am I correct? Did you finish?
Okay.
What time is it?
It is 7:29.
Okay, public commentary is closed at 7:29. The next is number 13, adjournment. I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? No discussion? Vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Nay? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned at 7:30.
30.
Thank you.
Does this go to the secretary?
It goes into the treasurer's